This industry is really messed up, like really messed up. So many companies just they don't do the basics. They see that a customer's website downloading time is like 20 seconds and they just start putting ads, they start putting content in the website thinking like, yeah, this will work, this will get them clicks and viewings. Who the heck cares about clicks and views? Are you actually getting sale? Are you actually getting traffic to your website that converts to a lead? And no one was ever able to answer to me that any of these questions when I asked, what's your conversion rate? I don't know. You're the CEO. How many leads do you get that turns into a sale? I don't know. How do you not know these numbers? Your partner is supposed to be giving this to you. Honestly, we're just doing the basics. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But others just aren't even doing that.
Tiia, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So one of the things I want to start off with, given that we're a 100% remote company, where in the world are you joining us from today?
Currently from Paris. Just moved here 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Nice. What has it been like for you so far?
In Paris?
Yeah,
Oh, it's a big change. I moved here from Barcelona where I lived there for 6 years. So it's a big change. I mean, culture shock. The people are completely different. Language, food, everything is. I'm trying to find my routines, but I mean, so far it's good. Can't complain. I mean, it's Paris.
right, exactly. Who can complain about Paris? So, I've been in the company for about 2 months and a half now, and I've gotten to know you just a little bit. So, from what I can see so far, you have sort of this travel bug that you've always had. Walk me through. Where did that travel bug start for you?
Oh, I think since I was a little kid. I mean, for me, like Spain, Spanish culture, the language, or so Latin America has always intrigued me since I was a little kid. I was like, I want to learn Spanish. And whenever I had the chance, even with my family, we always traveled to Spain. And when I was old enough to travel on my own or with my friends, immediately I was out. I think first trip was to Barcelona, I think. And it's just, I always had this urge to leave Finland. I always knew that even though I love Finland, I mean, it's the place I grew up, but it's not for me. The culture is not for me. I prefer much more kisses and hugs and like chit chatting, which we don't do in Finland. Um, so I prefer that a lot more. And I think, well, I graduated high school when I was 18. 1 month later, I was like, I'm not staying here. So I moved to US. I was an au pair for 2 years in the same family. Then I was thinking about maybe checking out colleges in Texas. Went to Texas, and then I liked it. I love Texas, to be fair, even though, like, if you cite all the issues there, I love it, but it's too far away from home. Like 18-hour flight. Flights are like 1,500 every time. It's too much to be that far away from Finland. So weirdly, my one of my close friends was living in London at the time, and she asked me like, "Hey, have you thought about London?" And I was like, "Well, actually, never crossed my mind, but let's try it." So we moved there together, and then really weirdly, one day I was walking around in London, and I walked past this school. It just said HULT Business School, and I was like, "Huh, what's that?" I checked it online, and I saw that it was actually an American school, but they had a campus in London. And I was like, hmm, maybe I should start thinking about going to college already because it's been like 3 years since I graduated high school. And I was like, you know what, let me apply there. And randomly, my friend living there with me as well applied, and we both got in. And then we started in London September 20, 2017 or 2018? 2018, I think. We started studying in HULT. Um, really well. Lived in London for 3.5 years in the end. Then COVID started. Um, I had this urge to leave London because it was too much of a city for me, and the lifestyle was way too hectic. Like, I'm very much of a beach person. So I was like, I need to get back to Spain. Like, I need to be in Spain no matter how, I will go there. And then I started applying for internships, and I just saw this one random digital marketing internship in Barcelona where they needed a Finnish speaker. So I was like, yep. Salary was like 200 euros a month, but I was like, yep, I'm coming. I don't care. Just get me to Barcelona. I was supposed to stay there for the internship, so 4 months, but COVID continued. School in London said you're allowed to continue remotely. Like, school is basically closed. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go back to London to just be at home there. So I decided to move permanently to Barcelona and finish my studies from there. And then actually, I think it was 1 year later, and I got so used to living in Barcelona that, well, I graduated 6 months early, and I was so used to living in Barcelona that I completely forgot to go to my graduation in London. I remembered the day when I saw everyone posting online. I was like, oh, right, I did have that life still going on as well. I completely forgot about my life in London. And so I forgot to go to my graduation. But it was fine. I mean, I loved my life in Barcelona clearly, so forgot about that. And 6 years later, I was still living in Barcelona. Like, absolutely loved it. Got a job there. Then moved to Resaco. Had a boyfriend, got a new boyfriend, made friends that are like family now. So I really built a life there. So now Paris.
Yeah. But was there something specific about, I mean, you obviously mentioned already that you're very like leaned into the Spanish culture, the language, the sort of the mannerisms that it has. But was there something more specific that kind of kept you in Barcelona?
I think it was like one of the first places where I moved kind of completely alone, not knowing anyone when I went there. And I really built the life that I had there, I built it like completely alone. So
Mm.
I think that was something that was also for me now really hard to leave, because it was really like a big accomplishment for me to be there and have done what I did, like from scratch. Um, and also, I mean, of course, Barcelona weather. I mean, who wants to leave that? So I think that's one of the biggest ones.
Wow, that's interesting. Have you, do you feel that somehow living abroad has also sort of shaped the way you work and the way you sell?
Oh, 100%. I mean, my mind is a lot more open than when it was when I lived back in Finland, and I got so much more experience in things that I really didn't think I would ever get in Finland. Especially when I compare myself to like my Finnish friends, like, absolutely no shame. I love the way they live and
Yeah.
everything, but it's just not for me. Like, we have such different lifestyle choices and everything, and it works for them, but I would have been miserable like with that. It's just not for me. And also, my lifestyle is not for them. Like, I think they would
Yeah.
be miserable with my lifestyle. But I mean, I think just talking to people from different countries and understanding their culture, how they behave, it really helps you also in your workplace, like, to really bring new ideas in the table.
Mm. Would you recommend anybody who is looking to go into the international business to live abroad first before? I mean, I've come from I've been in Finland now for 5 years. I did my university here and did international business, and did notice that yes, while a lot of people are studying international business, it seems to me that there's not really like a lot of knowledge or the know-how. I mean, the know-how they can teach you at university in terms of terms and terminologies that are used in the business world, but the real day-to-day life of dealing with people from outside your country, that's something that you just can't learn while being in one country. Uh, what
Yeah.
would you suggest for people that are going into those kind of branches?
Oh, 100%. It's not like mandatory that you have to live in the country, but it helps you tremendously to live in another country to really understand that people have different ways of living. It's
Hmm.
not just the way that we do things in Finland that everyone does everywhere in the world. No, it's not like that. Like even going to Spain, like difference between Spain and Finland is so huge. Like even with it's like very random example, but like working extra hours in Spain, that's not a thing. You work until your work is done. You don't get paid for extra hours. In Finland, it's like I did 30 minutes extra today, so I'm gonna take a half a day off tomorrow. Like it's so like the work life balance here, like in Finland, really is like wow. But like in Spain, in Italy, they don't look at the clocks. They do their work without complaining. I think that's something that Finland should look into a little bit more. Like
Hmm.
workday doesn't have to finish at 4 p.m. exactly. But I think for international studies like and business, it's very important to at least speak with continuously with foreigners, with people from other countries, because how else are you gonna do international business if you only know how business works in your country?
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. You mentioned something interesting about the sort of differences in work-life balance, sort of cultural thinking, right? One side is sort of, we work until the work gets done, and the other was it's we work until what my contract says I should stop working. Obviously, there's always the extremes on both sides, right? If you work too much, then you can kind of lead to
Yeah.
burnout, and then but also like if you kind of stick too much to one box, it's going to be very hard to get out of those things and to also sort of find growth. Uh, One thing is the cultural shock that you've had while going to different countries. But talk to me about the business culture shock. Have you encountered any of that now that you're sort of, working internationally?
Mm, I can't really think of anything that really like shocks me. I can't really think of anything that shocks me with that.
I guess you
I think
have,
like that's just the it's just the work life balance. I think is one of the craziest. Like in Italy, people work until 11 p.m. and it's a normality for them. While in Finland, that would never happen, like ever. I think
hmm,
that's like only the one thing that really shocks me still.
what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how do you feel? What do you think would be sort of the right mix?
I don't think working until 11 p.m. is correct, but I also don't think that like well, I don't know. It's a weird thing because you're allowed to work until 11 p.m. if you want to.
Yeah.
Like, if you love your job, go for it, do it. But if you're forced to do until 11 p.m., it's a bit, I mean, it's too extreme. But I think until 5, 6, 7 p.m., these are normal hours still during the week.
Yeah.
And maybe one month you do longer hours, the next month is a bit easier, especially in the sales world. Like, June, July, August, there's not much happening. It's pretty quiet, especially in Finland, well, everywhere in Europe as well.
Yeah.
But then the other months tends to get a lot more hectic, and it's just finding the balance in between. Also, you need to learn to say no if you need to leave or you need to be somewhere else. Like you need to say no, but also you need to be flexible, like to do the extra mile.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, like, if I think of myself, I mean, when I lived in Mexico, there was seasons where I would work 16-hour days. And obviously, I didn't learn about the work-life balance until I came to Finland. Like, I had never heard that term in my life until I came to Finland 5 years ago. And I thought it was interesting. And I don't know, like, the way that I see it, I think it's kind of it kind of depends on the life stage where you're at the moment. I think if you're young and don't have much responsibilities, that's like the time where you can test your limits, right?
Mm,
We talk about
yeah.
balance. How can you know balance without knowing first your limits? And it's kind of a buzzword that gets thrown around quite a lot, like work-life balance, work-life balance. And especially, I mean, nothing against it, but whenever I hear a 22-year-old talk about work-life balance, it's like, well, come on. I mean, you do have a lot more that you can offer. I mean, leave the work-life balance to the ones that have been working for the past 10 years and maybe taking very few
Yeah.
vacations. But yeah, that's a very interesting topic and something that I've learned that also to pay attention. And of course, now that I have a family and kids, I do have to prioritize also my time. But at the same time, I mean, if it's 4 o'clock and I still have things to do, I'm gonna make sure I do those things.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Agree.
So let's talk about Resaco. How was it that you ended up in Resaco?
Oh, it's a pretty funny story. Well, funny for me. So how did it start? Oh, so I was living in Barcelona. Um, I don't remember if I had my first job already back then or not, but somehow Resaco's previous employee, Essi, she had popped up on my LinkedIn all the time, like very randomly. She was living in Barcelona as well. She was Finnish, but I never met her. But she was on my LinkedIn always for some reason. And she went to work to a company, can't remember the name. And I was like, oh, they contacted me as well. So I texted her, like, hey, how's it going there? Like, do you like it? And she was like, no, I don't like it. I don't recommend it. I was like, okay, I won't continue the process then. Then she went to work for another company that I had interviews as well. And I asked, oh, how is it going there? And she was like, absolutely horrible. I was like, okay, I'm not coming there either. Then she joined to Resaco and I texted her like, how's it going there? Like, hey, like congrats on your job. There was nothing open at the moment at Resaco, but I just wanted to text her like because I've been following her career for some reason. And I was just like, hey, how's it going in Resaco? And she was like, absolutely love it. Like, finally found my place here. And I was like, well, really happy for you. And also a Finnish company, like super good. And then, yeah, so then Olli, so Resaco's founder, started coming up my For You page on LinkedIn. And I started following a little bit what's happening in Resaco and what kind of company that is. Also, I did do my internship in digital marketing, and it's a very trendy industry. Everyone wants to work in digital marketing for some reason. I don't know why, but I guess it sounds very cool. Um, so I don't know. We started chatting with Olli, then like at a position for account management opened up. And well, the timing for me was absolutely the worst because I had my 1 month trip to the Latin America coming up. So I went to Chile, Peru, and Argentina. And I had like my final interview when I was in Cusco, Peru, like in the middle of nowhere doing my last interview with Olli. And I was like, it was nerve wracking. It was in the middle of the night for me. Internet wasn't the best. And at this point, I really haven't been speaking Finnish properly like 10 years because I was working in English. My friends were Spanish or English, boyfriend in Italian. Like, I only spoke Finnish with my parents, and it's, Finnish people don't speak with their parents that often. So it's every now and then. I still remember, we will laugh about it with Olli. I was speaking like complete Finglish. Like, I didn't know how to talk about SDR work in Finnish. So I was throwing English words all the time in the mix. One point, Olli turns off his camera. And he told me this like once I had joined Resaco like a year later. Because I never understood why he turned off his camera. I thought it was because I was doing so bad that because I was really like, well, first of all, I didn't have experience for account manager position. So I was just really like throwing things that maybe they sound good, but they were like completely out of it. So Ollie turned off his camera, and I always wondered, like, hmm, I really was that bad. But then he told me 1 year later that he had to turn off his camera because he started laughing so much about my Finglish because I could not speak Finnish. Like it was so bad. I didn't even realize it was that bad. But also when I go visit Finland every now and then, my friends are like really like Tia, like you gotta step up. Like how are you losing your like mother language? Like it is really weird. It is really weird. But I was laughing when Ollie told me that. I was like, for all the time, I thought it was because I was so bad, but it was just because of my horrible Finnish. And well, then it turned out I didn't get the position, which well turned out good because I would have not made it in that position either. It was like fake it till you make it for me. But I then continued like talking with Olli on LinkedIn. Continued following Resaco. Then they opened up a position for part-time SDR. And SDR was exactly what I was doing back in Barcelona. And I texted Olli on LinkedIn, like, hey, if you have a need for a full-time SDR, I would be interested. And I think Olli called me the next day and asked me, like, when do you want to start? Like, I already remember you from the last interview. Like, I know you can do the SDR job. So I think 1 week we had signed the contract. I started in Resaco. Rest is history. Here I am 2 years later.
Wow, wow, that sounds very Ollie-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. So Resaco is basically this, we basically talk about being 100% remote sales company.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, how does that resonate with your personality?
So in my previous job, I did go to office twice a week.
Mhm.
I do like it. I do miss going to office a little bit just to see people,
Yeah.
especially now in a new city like Paris. Like I don't know anyone here,
Mhm.
so also working from home alone, and then not having anyone to hang out actually after work either.
Mhm.
It's tough. It's really
Yeah.
tough. But I do love the flexibility that remote work gives you. Like, I mean, if I didn't have remote work, I would have had to find a new job in Paris, and that would have been another really big stress, anxiety ball. So, I mean, I think once I'm able to get friends in Paris, find gyms, get my routines, again, I'm completely fine and I love remote work. So, I think it's all good. For me, it works perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. I think this is the first time that I'm actually working in a 100% fully remote. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
ever since I can remember, it has always been going to the office, which was sort of a ritual that I thought I enjoyed. I mean, it was nice to sort of suit up, put a suit on, and go to the
Yeah.
office, and like you said, hang out, talk to people there. Uh, but obviously, working from home, you can also accomplish so much. Just some of the things that you can do around the house, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
commuting, those kinds of things. It's like okay, I'm actually doing a little bit more with my free time than whereas before I was spending maybe an hour, hour and a half just commuting from home to the office you know, and
Yeah.
then
100%.
back. Yeah. What does a typical day for you is like at Resaco, like as an SDR?
Mm, well, now my job is it's I'm involved in quite a lot of things, so it's mixing up quite a lot of tasks. But um, I wake up around 7 ish. Do my morning stuff, open up laptop, check everything. If anyone's texted since last night, usually there's always some 9 p.m. text messages. I'm like, how are you texting me at 9 p.m.? But all good. I answer next morning. So check all that stuff. Mm, honestly, lately my calendar has been so different every day. Like every day I have different things to do. But I think if this week I'm looking at, because I had to do a bit more SDR stuff on the Finnish side. So calling, I think, well, if I take my yesterday, I had meetings. I was checking with our new SDR that's starting a little bit the list that he will be calling. Then I did cold calling for I think 3 hours, booked 2 meetings. What else did I do yesterday? I did Olli's LinkedIn, the ghostwriter here. I did my own LinkedIn. Did my own LinkedIn. What else? We were checking a little bit our new projects with Olli, how we're gonna continue with those. And yeah, I mean it's I go from here to here, and now I'm gonna start writing blogs, so
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Are you liking that transition?
I love to be busy. So if, for example, I still remember my first job in Barcelona, which, well, it was a job that I got because I needed the social security number and they provided it. So I was like, okay, I'll do the job until I get the social security number, because I mean, it was a job for online casinos for the customer service. So I was in the live chats. I had, at best, I had 11 chats open at the same time, and I was like responding. I was like, yes, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And I was like, yep, tick, tack, tick, tack. And I loved it. Like 8 hours went by like that. Like, I love being extremely busy. I love it. So days when I have a lot of things to do and a lot of different things to do, I do love it, even though sometimes I'm a bit like, if I have a lot of things to do, I can't get anything started. But at the same time, like, I just love having a lot of things to do. So
Nice. Obviously, the SDR position is, I would say it's arguably the hardest job in sales.
yeah.
What do you think makes a great SDR?
Uh, Honestly, I think it's come up a lot that having some sort of background in sports really helps you. I have my background in soccer. I always been a captain as well in my teams. And it's just about, because in sports you lose, you win, you kind of have to get too used to that. Even though when you lose, you can't be yelling at the pitch, like swearing, and you just have to handshake the opposite team and go home. And I think in SDR work is quite same, although here you can yell after the phone call is done. You can yell, you can cry. um, but I think resilience, and then just the fact that you can't take it seriously when someone says something mean to you, because they don't know who the heck you are, and they don't actually mean it
Hmm.
like directly personally to you. They just mean it towards the cold call that
Yeah.
they don't want to do it. And I mean, just enjoy it. I take it pretty stress free. So, because the worst thing they can do is yell at me and say no. So what? Next call, you know? And the winning when you book a meeting, that's like, we always talk about with Jonas, the other SDR in our team, and when you get one good one, it really, like, your whole day's good. You're done. Your whole week is like sunshine and like rainbows. It's amazing. Like, I think Jonas does like a happy dance every time. Like, it's just like, especially if on Friday you have a good day, your weekend is sorted. Like, dinner out, let's go.
So the key to happiness is book a SDR call, right? SDR
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah. You gotta book meetings, otherwise you're miserable. No, 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 no. Just resilience,
Yeah,
resilience.
yeah. That's good. I mean, obviously now the position that they have, it's sort of the SDR manager, right? So
Yeah.
given the experience that you have, you obviously, have a certain touch and feel for what a good SDR is. But on this side now, I mean, how do you spot talent?
I think you can see it within the first month already. just the way a person, because for example, we are able to listen to phone calls.
Mhm.
Um, just the way that they speak to a lead and that it's not forced. Because I remember, for example, when Jonas started, he had never done a cold call ever in his life. And the difference from now to then is insane. Like in the beginning, obviously you're a bit scared, you're a bit nervous, like you don't really know what to say, especially when there comes pushbacks. But you just have to keep calling and calling and calling, and then you become so natural,
Mhm.
and you understand that even if you don't know the answer, you can say it. You're just very chill, like, "Hey, actually, I don't know the answer to that, but I can give you the answer later. I can email it to you. I can ask from our team or anything." Because you don't need to know everything.
Mhm.
And I think spotting a talent is just finding a person who isn't afraid to pick up the phone call, the phone. So, and is willing to do the work. Even if there's 10 no's, the next one can be a yes. So you just can't let it get to you, you
Mhm.
know? Um, and just someone who's excited. You need to be excited to make the phone calls. Otherwise, it's not for you.
Mm.
If you're not excited to call a person, you can't be doing an SDR job because you're going to be making like 10 calls a day and that's it.
Yeah. What do you think is the hardest part of being an SDR that most people underestimate?
Mm, picking up the phone. No. Uh, duh, duh, duh. I don't. The thing is, I don't think people underestimate SDR job. I think it's very known that it's a very tough work, and I think majority of people say that they will never do cold calling in their life because it's a horror. Like it's taken as a horror thing, but in the end, you're just calling people who you know that need your product. You're not calling random people. But I don't know. I don't see there being anything that is underestimated. Yeah.
Do you think then companies perhaps sometimes steer away from that because they know how hard it is and they want to rely on, I don't know, email, like bombing with emails or different sort of methods?
Mm, I feel like a lot of companies do cold calling,
Mhm.
and because you can always find people who are willing to do it.
Mhm.
Um, I think even if you put our production to do cold calling, they wouldn't do it. They don't. They are
Mhm.
not. It's not something they want to do.
Mhm.
Um, Vice versa, I wouldn't like to do our production because I had no idea how to do it. To be fair, so.
Mhm. Yeah.
um, but I think like if you ask a CEO to make a cold call, I don't think they will in a big company as well. Especially, I don't
Yeah.
think they will start doing it. It is taken as a low job, like very entry level job. But in the end, if your SDR function is not working, that's it. You're not getting your sales.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I couldn't agree
literally the
more.
base for your company
I think that's the
if you
best way
don't
to
have
put it.
inbound.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, now that you mentioned that, we could make the parallel that SDRs are the nurses of the business world,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Wow, it's very interesting. Now, obviously, I mean, you probably had hundreds, if not thousands, of phone calls with people from various industries. What have you noticed is that one of the main or one of the most common things about digital marketing that most companies are suffering from?
Oh, too many. Um, from the fact that they're just not getting results. Digital marketing companies are happy to make 1 year, 2 year contracts, and you do the job for the first month, but then you realize that the company is already paying you for 1 year. Why should you do more? So digital marketing companies are very happy to charge their customers without doing the work, which is why our industry is so effed up in Finland, especially. I don't really know how it is in international market, but Finland, when I started cold calling, I think my first post was even about this on LinkedIn that, oh my lord, like I had no idea digital marketing is like this in Finland. Like what did we ever do to you, like to CEOs, because they were so rude to me. And I was like, wow. But then once I started speaking with them more and more, I was like, whoa, like this industry is really messed up. Like really messed up. Like so many companies just they don't do the basics. They see that a customer's website downloading time is like 20 seconds and they just start putting ads, they start putting s- content in the website thinking like, yeah, this will work, this will get them clicks and viewings. Who the heck cares about clicks and views? Are you actually getting sale? Are you actually getting traffic to your website that converts to a lead? And no one was ever able to answer to me that any of these questions when I asked, what's your conversion rate? I don't know. You're the CEO. How many leads do you get that turns into a sale? I don't know. How do you not know these numbers? Your partner is supposed to be giving this to you. So I think this is like, I started understanding within a couple of months, like really what Resaco does in digital marketing industry. Like, honestly, we're just doing the basics. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But others just aren't even doing that. They are like, I think just doing the bare minimum is too much. People are not doing even that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny they mentioned this. That's kind of, we ended up to a similar topic when I was talking to Olli on the first episode of the podcast. That kind of seems to me that a lot of marketing agencies get involved with clients only to provide visibility, but not really to take it a step farther and want to get involved in their sales processes. Right? Because I mean, yes, it is part of the company's responsibility to strengthen their sales processes, but if you have the ability to do so, why aren't you offering that? I mean,
Yeah.
something that something that I've heard many times over and over again ever since I came to Finland. And this is not, I mean, obviously there's amazing things happening here. We have amazing products, but it kind of seems that the selling part is not just there. For example, if you compare to Sweden, I mean, you know, Finns hate that comparison, but it is true. You know,
Mm,
whenever you travel around the world, nobody orders Koskenkorva vodka. People order absolute vodka, right?
yeah.
Nobody goes and looks for Artek. They're gonna go shop at IKEA,
Yeah.
right? So there's a disconnection, big disconnection between marketing and sales in a lot of Finnish companies. And this is not me just saying. I've actually, a lot of these things I've actually heard it also from CMOs in Finland. It's like, we're not good at selling. We believe that our products are so good that they should be sold by themselves. And
Mm,
well, it just doesn't work that way. And now that I was always involved in sales, but now that I'm in the digital market or in the marketing, let's say, environment, I have noticed that thing. And I have noticed how there's so many brands out there that are actually even piggybacking from some of our like philosophies. I mean, there's this great
yeah. Yeah.
company in the US called Sisu Sauna. They have
Mm,
great marketing. Like, why didn't we come up with that?
yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a big disconnection. Um, Jesus. I mean, now the company, yeah, Resaco, we're at a different stage now. We're now trying to expand into the EMEA. What have you
Mm.
noticed in terms of the way people do marketing outside of Finland versus the clients that we have been dealing with, for example?
It's funny because when I was looking into certain industry in Sweden, I noticed that they're not doing anything. Because when I was thinking about those companies, if I would compare them to Finland,
Mm,
every single one of those companies would have been a meeting booked in Finland. But just because I was as big as Swedish, they didn't want to talk to me. Like they are way more behind, or maybe it's just that industry that I was looking at, but
mm.
they weren't doing anything. But then when I was also calling, they did say that they already have a partner for multiple years, but I couldn't see anything, like absolutely zero results, no visibility, no traffic, not even branch searches. So yeah, I mean, I think now, especially when we're in the hotel industry, you already know that the biggest ones are obviously very good at what they do. They have the internal marketing teams. It's not even the ICP for us, but they are doing extremely good work. But it's the smaller resorts that it's weird why they don't want to put effort into this, because they are willingly giving the money to OTAs. And it's such a like fire topic, but for some reason their mentality is so that it's just how it's done. There's no other way. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
how do we change that is
exactly, exactly. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this, obviously, because, that's what we're trying to find. But I mean, like I know from experience that the hospitality industry, it's brutal in terms of the pay is not the best, and you're extremely busy all the time. So there's that element. So like GMs, I think it's very hard for them to really like they can barely keep up the operation at the hotel,
yeah.
let alone get into the marketing side of the company. Um, but yeah, that's obviously something that we have to change. And something that I've noticed, for example, with resorts is a lot of them are sort of behind sometimes in terms of hospitality trends, right? And once again, I mean, it's the same problem in a lot of the hotels. They're relying so much on OTAs, and it's not even to blame OTAs. I mean, obviously they're doing a very good job,
Yeah,
OTAs.
they're doing amazing.
Otherwise, they
Yeah.
exactly they do amazing. But I think a lot of the problem is as well is that, and this applies towards everything, right? Anytime the problem becomes normal, it's no longer a problem. So they
Yeah.
just kind of see it as another thing in their spending that has to be paid every single month or every
Yeah,
single
it's just a
year.
fixed expense for them.
Exactly. Exactly. But well, we are here to change that, right? It's not gonna be easy,
Day by
but
day,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Now, what kind of, I mean, going back a little bit to the SDR role, which is, what you specialize in, for people out there that may be considering the SDR career path, for example,
Mhm.
what would you say is the things that they should ask themselves before venturing into that world?
To be fair, honestly, I think everyone should try and ask your job even for 3 months, because it really builds up character and you really understand the hustle. Like, because I don't think there's any other industry or how you call it, another job that really builds your character like SDR job does. But people who are starting out as an SDR, I think the most important thing is just to pick up the phone call and understand that they don't know you. They genuinely do not know you as a person. What they're pushing back or being angry at you, it's not you personally. It's the cold call, because they get tens of cold calls every day. Relax, listen to music, do your morning things, get coffee. Um, just put yourself in a comfortable place with no distractions as well. Book time slots in your calendar where you like, this is where I'm calling. I'm not doing anything else. Even if I get 10 no's and I still got 30 minutes left on the slot, I will continue. That's the only way you're going to get meetings. It can be 40 no's but then the next one is a yes. And it's the only one, the yes, that matters. So I think just try to be happy with it. Honestly, you're talking to, well, I'm talking to CEOs. It's really interesting to speak to CEOs because there's so many different type of CEOs. Jeez, some are, how are they CEOs is the question, but some, like, you get extremely good conversations out of them. Also, you're allowed to ask questions even outside whatever the heck you're selling. If you see that they are very popular on LinkedIn, or they have, like, you can even ask, like, how did they get there? They love to talk about themselves. CEOs and salespeople love to talk about themselves. So ask questions that they can talk about themselves, because honestly, they will tell their stories to me. I have had 30-minute phone calls, where I was just listening to a CEO's story. So they love it.
Okay, so what I'm picking from this, and maybe one of the reasons why you're so good at it, is that you really humanize the role and not just make it into something transactional, right?
Yeah, I think most important thing with cold calling is that you have to remember that you're not selling anything. You're trying to understand what issues or troubles they might be having currently, and if we could probably maybe help them in some way. Worst case, we're just bringing them new ideas and they continue with someone else, and that's fine. But it's important to keep the phone call very, well, it should be short, and because you are calling them out of the blue, and the purpose is to book a meeting. So keep the first one short and just try to put a time in the calendar. But it's important that it's not a sales call, it's a conversation starter.
Hmm. Very well said. Do you have any recollection of what have been the most, let's say, that you thought it was a long shot and it turned out completely different to what you're expecting?
Oh, I think when CEOs, I have had a couple times when they tell me, like, yeah, no, like, I asked him a question like, hey, how's it going? How's it going currently with your digital marketing? Getting any new leads? Blah, 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 whatever I ask. And they say, yeah, we actually just changed to a 1-year contract. So we're stuck with that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was about to close. I was like, so I guess this is it. And he's like, oh, I'm happy to listen to you though. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, so I continued my speech and we booked a meeting. And it turned out that they were actually able to get rid of the 1-year contract as well. So always try to push for the meeting, even you think that it's not, it's not going to go anywhere, because it can. It can always go
Wow.
somewhere.
What about on the flip side? Have you had something that you were like completely confident that I'm gonna book this one and it just went a total
Oh,
mess?
yeah. On LinkedIn, I found once gotten like an answer saying that, I don't remember what it was saying exactly. It was like, um, yeah, this sounds interesting to us. This sounds interesting to us, and we're doing okay now, but like, yeah, this sounds interesting to us. So I called the person. Hey, just chatted with you. As you said, I thought I told you we're not interested, and hung up. And I was like, um, sure. And then my day was ruined.
Oh
I
my
was like
God.
at the high, 1 second to the lowest. Yeah. You never know. You never know where they're gonna go.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hmm. So you have been at Resaco for what, 2 years and some
2 years, yeah.
change? Yeah.
2 years.
So,
Yes.
listening to your story and sort of reflecting back on the previous job experiences that you've had and the things that you are doing now, I mean, from a personal level, what do you think have been your biggest learning lessons in this time that you have been with the company?
Learning lessons. Honestly, just learning lessons. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Uh, We have a lot of talented people in our company. Asking for help is not an issue. You can ask the dumbest questions, especially from sales side to our production. In the beginning, I was trying to say, kind of do everything on my own and things like this, but I've understood that I can actually, and people here are happy to answer. They're happy to
Mhm.
explain. They immediately like jump on a call to you. And 30 minutes later, I'm like, okay, now I know everything, even the history about this area. um, I think it's just show up every day, honestly. Like, give your 100%. We are in the startup world, even though we don't like the word, but we are in that world. But every week with us is pretty different, as at least in my day, like their work of day, their work. Um, just be open, honestly, for everything. If I mean now with the blog post for me, like I'm happy to try something new, do SDR job, try the new projects, kind of with the EMEA, and like just be open and happy to learn new things.
Hmm. Very well said. We have gone up and down a lot of topics, different things. Is there something that you consider highly important that we haven't talked or covered?
Mm, No, I can't think of anything highly important. I think we covered pretty well.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. Tia, where can people keep up with you?
On LinkedIn. On LinkedIn.
How do
No,
you
wait, what
appear
did
on
you ask?
LinkedIn? Yeah, yeah. How can people
Yeah.
find you and keep up with you?
Yeah, on LinkedIn, Tiia Lehtisalo. Find me on Resaco. I try to post once a week from now on, but let's see how it goes. I say
You're
that every
doing
month,
great.
so
Yeah.
you're doing great on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tia, it has been an absolute pleasure sitting there and chatting with you and getting to know a little bit more of your personal story instead of, the mind behind the SDR genius that you are. So, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time.
Thank you. Gracias.
Gracias. All right, then.